Are you confused by social media for your small business? Hello, if you're a small business owner, most likely you are. What if you could watch a show and leave that show with a plan for the next 30 days and feel like you know what you're talking about? Hey, that's what we're going to do today on Idea Collective Live. Welcome in. We have one of my favorite people on the planet, and I say that phrase because she's halfway across the planet. Our good friend and Idea Collective member, Bron Watson, live from Australia. She's a social media marketing powerhouse, and she's going to give us a full half hour of information today. So grab your notebooks, boys and girls, because we are going to have some fun. This is Idea Collective Live. I'm your host, Pat Miller, and it's the weekly meeting of your small business network. This show's live on the Idea Collective YouTube page and also all across the Idea Coach Network. We're on LinkedIn, we're on Twitch, we're on YouTube, we're on Twitter. We're everywhere. And if you want us to be even more places, and you think you've got someone in your network that might get something out of today's conversation about social media for small business, click the share button so you can spread the knowledge to everybody. So we're just getting started. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel, and that way you won't miss future broadcasts and special episodes on the Idea Collective channel. Now, this is sponsored by Serendipity Labs and Bank 59 and the super cool folks inside the Idea Collective for small business owners. Now, a couple things. We've got some announcements on today's show too. We're going to have our special event on Wednesday night, the Small Business Night School, where we're going to welcome Sarah Bauer to talk about pricing, selling, and closing. So we'll tell you more about that in this episode. And we've got an opportunity for you with the Young Guns main event happening on February 25th, a discounted ticket, and a free copy of Martin Lindstrom's book. We'll share that link later on in the show. But how about we get down to business and welcome in good old Bron Watson. She's the coolest. She's a member of the Idea Collective. She's in Australia. She is the best. Bron, I'm so excited to see you. How are you?
I am fantastic. Thanks for having me, Pat.
Well, we get a chance to talk about social media, and this is your thing. How long have you been doing social media?
Well, that's a really good question. I'm going to age myself here. I had my first job in marketing pre-social media in 1995. So
you were 4 or 5 years old then?
I was 4. So a long time. Now, in terms of the space I'm in right now, almost 10 years is my own business. So I've been at it for a while.
And you are leading small business marketing for folks in Australia, but outside of Australia too? I mean, what is your empire nowadays?
Okay, so I do have clients in the UK and the US as well, because you know what? When you're online, you can go anywhere. So that's what we do. And interestingly enough, it doesn't matter what niche you're in. It doesn't matter what you do and who you're selling to, that it doesn't change. It's the same process.
Well, it's great to learn from you today. So we're going to get like a half-hour masterclass on building a plan for our small business social media. And normally we do some other features of the show, but we've blown all that stuff out so we can get as much Bron as possible. And you see the chat is on the screen, right? So we're going to be paying attention off and on throughout Bron's presentation. If you have questions, drop them in the chat and we will get them in for Bron during the show. So Bron, with that, I'm so excited to turn the reins over to you and have you lead us through small business marketing and social media. So take it away, my dear.
Thank you. Okay, so now with the questions, guys, I'm about to share my screen with some slides. So if there's questions that I don't see, don't stress. I'll answer them even if we answer them post-show, and I'll get those answers to you so that you can have the information that you need, because there's nothing worse than going to something and walking away with more questions than when you started. So today, my focus is just on how you're showing up right now and take it from there. So let's go. I'm just about to share my screen, and I just got to work out how. So just give me a second. Let me see. Now, Pat, do I just click on the button? Is that what I do for sharing screen? Oh, there we go. Okay, so just let me start the slideshow. Just let me know if you can see that, because I now can't see you guys. Pat, everything working all right?
Yeah, everything looks great. Take it away.
Yay. All right. Okay. So just a little bit about me, just so that you know who I am. I am the chief coffee drinker here at Bron Watson. That is the name of my business. And I have 5 amazing sons, ranging from 11 to 22. I am a breast cancer survivor and thriver. I choose the word thriver, not survivor. That reminds me of bandanas and hard work. And I'm the Mother's Day Classic Ambassador, which is a national organisation here in Australia raising money for breast cancer research. Now, I do have a process called the Bron & Co method, and we're up the Bron & Co 2.0 method now. So we've been refining and growing it. That's an organic social media thing that I do in my business. Now, I do live in Port Macquarie, which is 4 hours north of Sydney. So I live in a little tiny speck of a town on the beautiful coastline of the eastern coast of Australia. So if you ever want to come to holidays, let me tell you, this is the place to come. Okay, let's get started. Why bother showing up on social? Like, obviously, you know the answer to this question. Why? Because it works, and that's the way business is. It's not a matter of if, it's not a matter of when, it's a matter of if. There's still a lot of people, I think, resisting this, and then, you know, it's not everyone's thing, right? So I've got a lot of people saying, I'm just too busy, and that's okay. But then what you put out is what you get back, and that's what our focus today is all about, is what you put out in terms of your business. Now, I want to cover 5 focus areas. Now, these 5 focus areas are the way that I believe it's very specific, and it's for small business, but it's the 5 focus areas and how are you showing up, because that's going to determine what sort of stuff to put out in the next 30 days. Now, it's the opportunity that you have sitting in front of you, and then, of course, we're going to cover that 30 days. Now, how do you show up online? I believe there are 4 ways people show up online. And the first one is the ghost. Now, these are the people who are on social media and on all platforms, might I add. And they're there, they're watching, they're reading, but they do nothing. You wouldn't even know they're there. They're consuming your content, but you'd never know it. Then the next one is the wrangler. Now, what does a wrangler do? They throw hoops and lines, and what a wrangler does is, as soon as they make that connection with you on any platform, LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, they're trying to sell you stuff. Anyone else? I can't see you, so I don't know. Anyone else had a connection, and the instant that you've made that connection, someone's trying to lock you into a consult, or they're trying to lock you into buying something from them. So these are the people who want to sell straight up. And I don't know about you, but I don't like to be sold to. I want to be connected with. So that's a group of people who would show up. Then we have the minglers. Now, these are the people that are in lots of Facebook groups, and they hang out and they comment and they like, but they don't actually do anything to grow their business. And with that, they're commenting and they're feeling great. Yay, I'm here. I'm doing all this amazing work on social media, but they're not actually turning $1. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I'm really into return on investment for my time and for my money. So as a mingler, you're not pulling these people off social media. So then there's the strategist. So these are the super cool people, and there's not many of them actually, where they're strategically do what I call playing the game and moving and participating and answering the one question which I believe is the most important one, which is, how can I help? We are all experts in our own field. And even though you might have started in something else and where you are now, you're still that expert. It took you a long time to get you where you're at, right? So as a strategist, we're strategically posting, we're strategically commenting, we're strategically connecting. And even more than that, we're pulling and we're connecting offline. So when I say offline, I mean into your email database, clearly, okay? Not literally walking through the front door. That's good too. But literally we're pulling them off social media so that we can build the relationship. Now, I know all you guys know about the know, you, like, you, trust you thing. And it's, you know, people bang on about it a lot, but the thing is, it's so true and so valuable. It's about connecting, collaborating, and providing value so that someone wants to get to know you, wants to like you, and then, of course, they'll trust you, because then, of course, it becomes a natural that we convert into sales. All right, so what's the opportunity? With over half the population, this is for Australia, showing up, and with increased activity, obviously COVID, as you know, did so much for so many. But one thing that I absolutely go on about with organic social media is that people know people know people. If we all showed up and connected and collaborated, shared, commented and liked each other's stuff consistently, that's the key here, consistently, Facebook wouldn't get the revenue that they're getting, let me tell you. But you've got to show up with purpose and with value. And, you know, I've done this for 10 years and I learnt this from my mentors over the years, that when people are zigging, you zag. So you're thinking, well, what the heck does that mean on social media? Well, what it means is if everybody's promoting a specific thing, or they're using a specific what's called long copy, which is the long post, or they're writing short posts, or, you know, they're selling all this stuff, you don't do what they do. You do what's right for you. So that's where the zag comes in, because you just don't know who knows who. And I'll give you an example of that. So at the moment I'm running a charity. It's called Play for Jake. I've accidentally, what was going to be running it's so funny, selling some T-shirts online, turned out to connect with a National Rugby League team. So it's like one of your, I don't know what you call it, football teams in the US. It's one of the biggest ones in Australia. We've managed to get 40 of their legends and players to come to my little town here in Port Macquarie. And we've got wheelchair rugby, because the boy that we're raising money for is 15. He's in a wheelchair and he has osteosarcoma. And so we've got wheelchair rugby with a gold medal Paralympian who's going to be on Jake's team. We then have golf, and then we have a dinner and auction, and it's sold out. And it's done purely through social media and purely through organic social media, because it's all about the connection and the collaboration. And people are going, oh my God, Brian, look what you've done. No. I just showed up. I just did what we do consistently. Okay. Now, let's get started.
If I may, let me jump in with a question real quick. I'm sorry to interrupt, but you got me there. So you just performed something through social and had this terrific success. Can you go back one slide there? And I want to ask you about the success of that event. So you saw that everyone was doing something and then you did something different. Can you reflect on that strategy with the rugby team of maybe something you did that got their attention? Because everyone wants their attention. Did you do something differently to get their attention?
Okay, so what we did was we went to the top of the tree. Okay, we ended up being able to speak to the CEO and the marketing manager of that. It's called the South Sydney Rabbitohs. For those of you who know Australia, they're the bunnies. It's a huge, it is one of the biggest, with the biggest following in the country. What did I do differently? Remembering that when we did speak to them, they said, yes. But guess what? They didn't do anything for us in terms of to help us with the marketing or with the event until last week. So we've gone ahead and sold over 500 tickets, which might not sound a lot to you guys, but when you're in a little town of 30 odd thousand with nothing over Christmas, remember over Christmas, and there was a massive outbreak of COVID over Christmas in Sydney. So they're from Sydney. What it was is that I wanted to demonstrate. So this is the word that I use a lot with my team and my clients. We demonstrate what we do. We demonstrate who we are. And so you'll laugh at this, Pat. I built a website. I am so not techie, okay? Just saying. I built a website. I went and got an email address that was hello@playforjake.com.au. I made it look like we had this amazing marketing team. It's just me and the dog. So, so the perception was that we were like this super organized thing, right? Because when we went to these guys, I didn't want them to think that I was just running a chook raffle. I wanted them to think that I was a bona fide, a legitimate reason to get behind our event, because it's a win-win, right? Because these guys, I don't know about your teams in the US, but there's been a lot of contention over the years with inappropriate behaviour from players. Let's leave it at that. So there's a really, they're really looking to show that a National Rugby League team have a community spirit, and a community spirit in COVID, right? So quite a significant thing here. And so with that, Pat, I showed them the website, I showed them the media release. I don't know how to write media releases. That's not my specialty. I'd love to learn, but it's not my thing. I do marketing. And so I've called on people I know to help me do the things that I'm not good at. And so then we still strategically showed up consistently. I made videos with Jake. This little boy, when he came to me in October and his mum said to me, "Can you please help us? I don't beg." I'm going, "Cool, what do you want me to do?" He's now laughing, he's smiling, he's now got a purpose, and it's the gift of all the hours that I've done is just incredible. So, Pat, to answer that question, I demonstrated that we were legitimate and that we were a bona fide fundraiser. And I've just kept demonstrating to them for the last 8 weeks, to the email last week, which is saying, hey, we're sending 16 legends, we're sending first graders, and we're sending 4 from our marketing team with a camera to film the whole weekend. Thank you for coming. Yes, win.
Well, it sounds like you made it easy for them, and you also
I made it very easy for them. That's the thing, right? They got to know me, got to like me, and got to trust me.
Yeah, and you made it a shared goal. They wanted to demonstrate the behaviors being good during COVID. All right, I was just curious about, because I'm sure you did something cool. Okay, carry on.
I do, and it's what's in it for them, right? I go in with that, what's in it for them, not what's in it for me. How can I demonstrate to them so that they can see that I might be someone who they might want to do business with? Cool? All right, so Pat, I can't see questions or anything like that. So if there's a question and timing, let me know. Okay, so there's 5 main focus areas in business. We have lead generation, we have lead nurture, we have sales and conversion, we have deliverables, we're all good at deliverables, and then we have referrals, upselling, ongoing relationships. Now, these are all worth 20%. That's the way we look at it. So what I want you guys to do is take out a pen, and out of 1, you don't do any kind of lead generation, to 10, I'm absolutely smashing it out of the park. Doesn't matter how you lead generate, guys. Doesn't matter whether you've got advertising or whether you've got a VA who's out there doing some stuff for you. It doesn't matter. How do you lead generate? Because this is why we do what we want to do, right? Is because we're wanting to get not the popularity votes, right? Because you can have a page that's only got 200, but you've got 200 active followers versus a page of 20,000 who are not connecting with you at all. But it's all about the likes, comments, shares on any platform. All right, it really is. And that's why we're there. How are you lead generating? How are people finding who you are? And from there, we then want to go into lead nurture. So once you've met these people, how are you going? How are you nurturing these people? How are you talking to people when you meet them down at the shops or out for a walk? How are you connecting when you're on a Zoom for a networking event? Are you following up, or are you waiting for these people to follow up with you? How are you going with the email marketing, whether it be a newsletter, a magazine? Like, Pat, you do a great job. You're so consistent with this. You know, I'd sack myself at the moment. I've been off the game, probably since about November, December, but there were some health reasons for that. Do I care? No, because I can pick it straight back up again. It's totally okay. How are you going with messaging the people who you have connected with on Facebook and also on Instagram? And obviously LinkedIn goes without saying. So are you showing up? Are you nurturing people so they can get to know you? Are you doing Facebook Lives? Are you doing video? Are you writing things so that people can read? And you're going, yes, yes, tick, 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 tick. Yes, great, good, great. So out of 1 to 10, guys, in terms of lead nurturing, are you a 1 or are you a 10? Because I want to know your results. Okay, education, free guides, cheat sheets, you know, all the stuff that we've been taught for decades to show up and do. How are you going with your one-to-ones? Be online or via Zoom or in your local business. Not business, town, you know what I mean. So sales and conversion, of course, because there's marketing and there's sales. Now, it could be that there's nothing wrong with your marketing. It could be that your sales process has some holes in it. So out of a scale of 1 to 10, how are you going? How are you going with your conversions? So I know, for example, exactly how much I will convert, depending on how many. So say I have 10 conversations. I know that, Bron, when I do my sales, my husband works with me in this section, but when I do my sales, it's about a 4 out of 10. And you're thinking, well, that's not very good. No, but it's a high-level product, guys. It's a decent investment if it's a long-term strategy, right? But say, like, even with a workshop, I do workshops every now and again, both online and face-to-face, and I might charge $250 Australian for it, right? I'll still get on the call, still get on the phone and ring for 20 minutes, because I'm not sure if you know that the statistics on automatic conversion, so that's an online buy now button. So you'll go and see a lot of research, but have you checked it and tested it on your own business? I hope you have. Statistically, for me, and a very significant marketing person who I won't mention, because I know that there's a case study that my mentor has shared with me, was it's 3 out of 100, which means that every 100 people you get into your funnel, into your sales funnel, only 3 will buy now. And I'm going to explain that very shortly, of what that means, is how, and what are you going to do with the other 97? Like, when are they going to convert? So how are you going with your sales and conversion? Now, of course, we go through for delivery and experience. Now, I believe it's all about experience. 2021, if you're looking at the trend on social media, it's all about experiences. This hasn't really changed. How we deliver might change a bit, but it's the experience. How do you want your people to feel when they walk away from even a Facebook Live, or what Pat and I are doing today? How are they going to experience getting to know you and like you? Because this is the easy part, right? I don't know how many people I talk to, this is funny, who build online courses, and I'm talking some absolute incredible online courses. They spend months building them, and then they just think people will come and buy it. You can't, it's called attraction marketing for a reason. You got to go out there. You got to go find these people, attract them in, right? So you want to build the value so that they want to invest. It's got to be such an easy decision. And, you know, we call it the click. On that click, the decision has to be a no-brainer. Now, that's what we talk about with upping, you know, the connection with your ideal client. I'm not going to go through ideal client today. You know, I've been honing it for 10 years, ideal client. I learned that, no, it'll be 10 years this year. I started my first business, Nurse Power, and learned that there was this thing called ideal client. So let's just keep going. Now, the 5th way in business is the follow-up, the upsell, and the referrals. And so for some people, say, for example, you're a chiropractor and someone's come to you because they've got a bad back. They've come and you fix them. And you're thinking, oh, well, we're done now. And that's the end of the relationship. No, it's not the end. You just imagine that, you know, there's 2 chiropractors. One, they've got this fantastic follow-up relationship building. They have an absolutely fantastic newsletter they put out every month. They're showing up on Facebook. They're showing up in LinkedIn. They're being that expert, and they're just nurturing a client who's already come through. And then there's another chiropractor who just takes the money and done the deal, and it's over. So I'm on Facebook or I'm in LinkedIn, and people ask for a recommendation. Who do you think they're going to remember? They're going to remember the guy who's been in their face, the one who's been providing the value. And it's about that follow-up. So you want that person to go and tell their friends. And I'm not just talking about referrals here, or I'm talking about genuine, you know, like, I know that when someone else puts in when you see a question in a Facebook group or whatever, and it's asking for a recommendation and people are tagging me in, I've won. That's what I'm talking about here, guys. It's not what you're doing. Well, it is what you're doing, but it's about building that community for people who you don't even know who they are. And of course, then we have upsells and referrals and what we do with those.
Now you're starting to create some questions here, Bron. Folks are jumping in. So we got to take a pause here for a second. We'll come back to the presentation in a second, but we do have a question. While we're still near the topic, I think it would make sense. So question from Michael: what are some key strategies for converting minglers to actual leads in the sales process? Because you mentioned 3 out of 100. So what do you do with the other 97? Are we going to get to that? If so, we're going to get to that.
We're going to get to that.
Okay.
Because the thing is, right, that when you're thinking about the minglers and you're thinking about the strategists and you're thinking about the wranglers and the ghosts, how do you show up? Are you even showing up? So are you going to other people's groups? Are you going on in LinkedIn and are you just there purely to answer the question, how can I help, without zero of something in return? And this is the tricky pit, Pat, because, people do these things obviously wanting something in return. But what if you had no expectation in return and you genuinely wanted to help? Just because you could, your business will grow through the roof because people know that. So converting minglers, what I would suggest is, rather than worrying about what they are, I would be thinking about, how do I show up? So, because you know what, a mingler, that, I don't know about you, for those who are in the coaching space or have been coached, you'll know that there are people who just, there's three kinds of people, right? This is the way I like to think of it. We have the freeples. Now, these freeple people are the ones who go into groups and they show up and they have conversations and they feel lovely, but they don't do anything. They're just freeples because in their world they're not ready to make a commitment to an investment, right? And then we have the cheaples. Now these cheaples, right? These are the people who are prepared to pay, but they're not prepared to do the work. They want you to do the work for them. They just think, fall from the sky and voila, we had this amazing result, right? But they're going to pay, right? And then we have the peoples. These are the peoples who are prepared to back themselves, invest in themselves, and grow their business. So you can be a freeple, a cheaple, or a people. So to answer that question, focus on the people.
All right, I'm going to go laugh off screen. Go ahead, Brian. If we have more questions, get them in the chat. We'll get them in here.
I'll whip through this, guys, and then we'll take off the screen and then we can share it properly so I can actually read the question. So now what I want you to do is, so with my clients, I give them this PDF to work through. And so what I want you to do, out of the scale of 1 to 10 on here, this is what it's going to look like. And what we're looking for in the next 30 days for your social media is which one of these is the lowest. And that's what we're going to focus on. So with social media, I believe the easiest low-hanging fruit are people you've already done business with and building the relationships with them. So in this case here, I just made this up, this person in the next 30 days needs to focus on, I can't even read my own slides. How's that? Reselling, referral, client nurture. And that's where you want to put your energy in. And you're thinking, well, Bron, how do I do that? Well, what does your clients who you've worked with before, what were the top 10 questions they asked you? And write them down. And then write down what are the top 10 questions they should have asked you but didn't. That's 20 blogs. A blog, guys, you can carve up into 20 pieces of content. So we've got 20 blogs carved up into 20, and I'm no good at maths. Now you've got yourself some serious content for the next 30 days. Well, actually, probably for the next year, but let's not get too carried away. So out of your 5 areas, I want to know what's the area that you need to focus on. And so for the person who was asking about the minglers, what are the questions the minglers are really wanting to know? And start communicating and asking, not telling, asking, sharing, communicating with. I find, and being an educator, guys, because I'm a nurse educator, believe it or not, in my previous life, and I'm highly qualified as an educator, is that we're very good at telling because we're teaching. So with the teaching, we want to teach with purpose. And when we teach with purpose, it's because we want to answer the questions of the people who are the minglers. What's really going on for them? Are they freeballs? Don't give them energy. Don't worry about them. But where are your people that are in there who are actually genuine? And we put all that love and energy onto the people that matter. And I'm going to show you in the next slide what that really means. So imagine you had a room of 100. 3 are ready to buy now. So that's, you can wrangle, guys, and you'll get 3. You can put up a, again, use your own statistics here. This is just the bronze statistics. I know that if I put out an automated lead generator, I'm going to get 3 out of 100. So I'm going to get 100 people onto my email list, 3 are going to buy. Then we have the next 30, and they're going, well, I like your stuff there, Bron, but I'm already working with someone and I'm doing pretty good. I'm pretty happy, but I like your content. So I'm just going to follow you and I'm going to read it. I'm not going to really interact, but I'm just going to be there and have a look around for maybe 6 to 8 months. They're going to just float around. Think a client journey here, guys, and it's not even client or avatar journey, whatever you want to call it. I don't care. It doesn't matter. Then we have the next 30. Now, these are people who are going, you know what, Bron, I've committed to what I'm doing for the next 12 to 18 months. I still love what you do, and I'm really interested in the value that you're bringing to your topic, and I find you funny or whatever it is, but I'm not really ready to buy for at least 12 to 18 months. And that equals 63. The remaining 37, they're going to go, Bron, don't like you, honey. You got that accent. Don't like it. Not into it. They're never going to buy your stuff anyway. So I can focus on the 3 or I can focus on the 63. So I'm going to focus on the 63, not the 37. They don't get a vote in my world. The 63, and I'm going to ask the question, how can I help? I want to know your questions, guys. I'm not here to go, hey, come and sign up for my thing. I'm here to go, how can I help? And I mean that with absolute integrity. All right, so the next 30 days. Now that you know out of your 5 focus areas in business, what would you like to achieve? Who would you like to, what part of your business needs attention? Because for a lot of us, the delivery, we can do it with our eyes shut. And, I contemplated building another online course last week. My husband just goes, oh, Bron, what are you doing? I've looked at some various platforms. I go, you know what, I haven't tested out Kajabi yet. Think I might go test them out for the next year or 2. And he's going, oh, my Lord, girl, what are you doing? So really, what is your goals? Because I can do that stuff because I've done it for so long. But where do you want to show up? Where are your ideal people? Not what you like, but where are your ideal people? Who is it that you want to connect with? And that's where you show up. And what types of content do you want to use? How are you? Like some of you, I know I've watched some of you guys. See, I'm a bit of a ghost. I've watched some of you guys and I think, wow, that is so cool. I'm loving your content. Really cool, but I don't really get to know you very well. So I want to get to know you. How are you going to show up? And then, of course, what's your main campaign, right? It could be that, oh, damn it, I haven't done any of that follow-up with my referrals. Because, guys, the easiest sales, as I said before, the lowest hanging fruit, are the ones you've already sold to before. Not necessarily back to them, but to the people who they know. Who do they know? And strategically put that plan together to go, how can I attract more of those people, or how can I get them to go and do that Google review or go and do whatever it is? Like at the moment, I've got a guy I'm working with. He puts antennas up. I call him Tim the TV man. His social media is going so well. So we only started in November, so his page had nothing. He had no followers on Instagram. And his videos are hilarious. But guess what? His audience are loving him. It's not about the well, the only one that I really say followers is probably Instagram, but I've got some really cool ways to grow your following Instagram for organically. It takes some time. So when it does come to this organic stuff, guys, it takes time. It's not going to just go wacko 30 days, boom, I'm on fire. It's like going, no, at the end of the 30 days, have you done what you said you were going to do? Because if you have, that is hugely successful. Not necessarily, oh, I only got, 100 likes, Bron. Don't care about your likes. Love you, but don't care about your likes. What I care about is the engagement. How are you showing up? What's your engagement? Did your engagement go up? That's what we're looking for. Then, of course, Once you know what your campaign is for the month, what your focus is, then I want you to break it down. I know this is high level, guys, and I know I'm not giving you go and do this, this, and this. I'm happy to share stuff like that with you. I've got some stuff I can give you to help you build this if you want. But it's more about, I want you to think about how do you show up and where are you least showing up in those 5 focus areas. And then from there, let's talk strategy. So, Pat, that's it. I'm going to stop sharing somehow.
I already done it. No problem on that. So
Yeah.
let's just step back for a second. So we spent a half hour talking about social media strategy for small businesses, and you didn't get into scheduled posts or algorithms or any of that crap. You stepped back and said, here are the 5 successful things to make sales.
Yes.
Where are you? And then why don't you work on that for 30 days? I mean, I'm boiling it down, but it was so refreshing to hear just like a real world like overview of what we should be doing on social media. And it sounds like that's a strategy that works for your clients.
It works, full stop, guys. So it cracks me up when, because obviously right now, I don't know about your news feeds, but I'm getting hit at the moment with 365 templates for your social media, right? So you get it for $47, all right? So go buy it by all means. And then what? I can tell what you're going to do with it. You can do nothing with it. I know I'm not you personally, right? This is not personal. Generally speaking, most people won't do anything. Why? Because it's too overwhelming and you haven't got to the core. The core is who are you and how you want to show up. Because once you know that, like I don't care what other people do. And I mean that with love. But I'm testing, I'm learning, I'm educating. I go to my people, I go to my sources I know that there's tactical things, right? They're the tactics. But when if you haven't got your strategy sorted out, Pat, the tactics aren't going to work.
Yeah.
Because if you're doing what everyone else does, like I agree. Did I just see it? The whole catchy line of the 5 paragraphs with a video. Absolutely. Stop doing what everyone else does.
Yeah.
What do you want to do? I'd rather you say to me, Bron, I'm going to show up 3 times a week, but I'm going to bring absolutely everything who I am and what I do to the table. And I'll go, yes, please.
So questions are rolling in.
Yep.
Here's a question from Susan. I'm so tired of all the same messages and tactics being used. What's fresh and new? What have you seen? What are you playing with?
Okay, so what I'm playing with, I call it real raw marketing. So when I make a video or I go and video someone, so I actually share, and you won't see it a lot on my own page. Remember that, guys? If you go to the Bron Watson page, you're going to see that I haven't done anything for a couple of months. Hand up, 100%. My apologies. Dealing with some health issues, had to go through the whole cancer thing again, right? I'm okay. But for my clients, though, different story, is I do these videos that they don't see me, but I'm asking questions. So I'll go to a local business and I'll ask them questions. But I call it real and raw. There is no editing. All right? I call it the one take wonder. We get in, we get out, you get 90 seconds, we're done. Answer my questions, see ya. And they are going off, Pat.
Now, that's interesting because I think that's the allure of the Clubhouse app. Have you been on Clubhouse yet?
Look, I'm in there, Pat, but again, look, I'm not going to comment on it because I haven't given it any energy or thought. No. I definitely need to test it out.
Well, what I'll tell you is I think that's the allure of the app, is that they are unedited, long-form conversations with anyone that shows up. I was in a conversation this past weekend with Jennifer Buchholz, hosted by a woman in Germany, and we had a super engaging talk about how to host communities online. And we talked for like an hour. It was fascinating. And it was very, like you say, real and raw. There's no algorithm, right? There's no editing. It was not scripted. It was not fake. It was very authentic.
And I'm not saying don't have the professional. Absolutely, you'll need professional, what my kids call the trailers. Yes, you need your trailer videos and your explainer videos and the education videos and all of the stuff and the things. But what I think is more important is that people want to know you. They want to know who you are. How do you like your coffee, Bron? It's like I've had people connect with me, Bron, go, oh my God, you're a coffee drinker. I'm a coffee drinker, guys. So after chemotherapy, guys, the only thing that I have left that's remotely like my old life is my love of coffee. So it's really important to me. But you're thinking, well, that's not very professional. I don't care. I'm connecting because I'm real. I want to be real. So I want to hang out with the cool kids. I want to hang out with the real kids. Pat, you're one of those.
Oh. Wow.
You know, in terms of what everyone else is doing. So if they're talking about it, go and find your version of it. But the thing is, you've got to test it. And when I say test it, 30, 45 days of testing what you're wanting to do. In terms of of course, you've got your strategy because now you know which area of the business you're focusing on. Then we're going to go the tactics and go, cool. Well, I hate Facebook Live, or I you know, don't want to do whatever. So cool. What's really going? People need to see your face.
Mm-hmm.
They need to be able to look you in the eye.
I love that authenticity and that just putting yourself out there. I got a question from Brad that's a little more tactical, but what about putting in your post calls to action? Do you put one in every post, or sometimes are they just conversational?
Okay, so in my world, I use, I call them category, they're called content categories. So I have 11 content categories, varying from funny through to promotional, through to relatable, vulnerable. So with those calls to action, I would definitely not do them every time. You've got to mix it up, the providing value, answering questions, how can I help? If you wrote down the top 10 questions your customers or clients ask you, and then the top 10 questions that they should ask you, and you start providing the value in there. But see, with a promotional post, right, it doesn't say come and buy my thing. It could be, hey, look at this video. Here's a shot or a video of my clients' work. Well, like I could be working with my clients through their calendar. So, for example, in my world, for about 90 minutes, I can get a month's worth of content out of my client. There's a few things we've got to do afterwards, which might take 4 hours for them. But that's Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Google My Business. Okay, so there's this method how we do that. I could do a video on how we're doing that. That's a promotional post. So that's a call to action, which is, hey, check out what I'm doing here. Mix it up, but 1 to 4. Like, you know, there's that. You go on Google, there's 50,000 strategies on that. I reckon go between, you know, promotional, valuable, vulnerable, relatable, fun, whatever your market is, whatever your thing is, right? Like if you love, like for example, I've been asked to collaborate in a business and it's all around cushions. So I'm collaborating with an interior designer. Now she loves dogs. So we're building a business on cushions, including custom made dog beds to match your cushions, because our market loves interior design and loves cushions, but they also love their dog. So our promotion is going to have dogs in it everywhere. We've actually got a little puppy coming. It's called Whippy. I don't know. It's not born yet, but that dog will be featuring quite heavily in our marketing.
When you look at other people's social media, maybe it's just me, but I look at other people's social and think, what am I doing wrong? And it's kind of refreshing to talk to you, where it's like, this is who I am, and I'm going to talk about what I have to share with real world business goals. And the other thing that I think you shared today, which I think is really a great reminder, is that sometimes you go on social and you just show up to help with really no expectations. And that's a marketing strategy. And like, helping people is a marketing strategy. Who knew? What a world.
Yeah, and help, but also find out, like, over time, you will have people opting in. You will have people connecting with you on LinkedIn. And LinkedIn, as you guys would know, LinkedIn is, I tell you what, it's the best platform, right? I believe it's got the best platform because the algorithm is the friendliest. When I say friendly, it's because it's so nice, because it shows so many of your first connections. And then if you like and comment on one of your first connections, it shows up on all their connections. Like, I reckon it's a really great strategy to play. But you're playing with how can I help, offering value. As again, don't go to mine, but I've got the strategy. Yeah. All right, I promise, all right? I'll do a deal with you, right? We'll do a deal. I'll go and do it for 45 days, and then we can demonstrate what I'm talking about. How's that sound?
All right, we've got a couple of coaches in the chat. So Brad Herda, Michael Rampola, one of you guys hold Bron accountable to that. That would be okay. So now we did it. Now you said it worldwide.
Okay, so to clarify, a good social media a good strategy for me for LinkedIn is 3 posts a week. All right, I'll commit to 3 posts a week, and I'll play the game. And when I say play the game, playing the game means that I'll show up, that I'll like, that I'll comment, and I'll share. All right, deal?
Got it. Now look at this. Talking about showing up, we're so fortunate because Bron is a member of the Idea Collective. So if you want to be in the same community as Bron, learn from her on an ongoing basis, join the community today. Bron, I could talk to you all day, but we are out of time for today. Thank you so much for coming on. We really appreciate it.
Oh, thanks for having me. I love it. Bye, guys.
Bye-bye. Bron Watson, she's just one of my favorites. I told you she's one of my favorites, and we could have done double that amount of time and learn from her. So hopefully that was a fresh air, like a breath of fresh air when it comes to social media strategy. Love the way that she thinks and talks about it. Okay, we got a few announcements before we step off into our after party networking. We're going to spend some time talking to each other, connecting with one another, seeing what's going on in our businesses, and to reflect on what Bron said, ask the question, how can I help you? We're going to ask that question here in just a little bit on the link on the screen. We would love to have you join us no matter what platform you're watching on right now. But the announcements we have to make, Wednesday night, we're talking sales with the one and only Sarah Bauer of Heartland Payment Systems. It is the first Idea Collective night school for 2021. I talked with Sarah this morning, and she is ready to go with, I think, like 45 minutes worth of sales content talking about pricing, selling, and closing. So if you want to sharpen your sales skills, join us Wednesday night at 6 o'clock. Hit the link. It's a free event thanks to Bank 59. We're going to do education from 6 to 7 and then some networking from 7 till 8. So hit that link on the screen and we would love to have you join us. The other announcement is we've got a great deal for Idea Collective members and folks that are watching the show for the Young Guns main event. That is our worldwide broadcast on February 25th, featuring Martin Lindstrom, one of the foremost experts on branding on the planet. He's going to be a speaker. Shay Rowbottom, the #1 social media influencer ranked by Forbes. Jay English, who was on this show a few months ago and blew us all away. And an opportunity. Remind me to come back to the opportunity. Those 3 folks are on stage. $59 is the ticket price. And if you get that discounted ticket now, you will also get a copy of Martin's book included in the ticket price. So hit that link, grab those tickets, enjoy the book. Now here's the opportunity. In true Young Gun spirit, there are going to be 4 speakers at the main event. Martin, Shay, Jay, and maybe you. We are giving away the first slot at the main event to someone in the Young Guns movement. So if you visit our website, younggunsmovement.com, you can apply to become the opening speaker at the main event. I mean, if you're an aspiring speaker and you're on the same stage as Martin Lindstrom, that's something that you put on your resume. So visit our website, younggunsmovement.com, apply now, and you might get on the main stage. Okay, so we're drifting off to the after party, Idea Collective after party. And the theme here is you may be watching on LinkedIn, you may be watching on Facebook, maybe on YouTube, on Twitch, wherever. We all come together in a Zoom room. We say howdy to each other. We learn a little bit about one another. If someone's new to the group, we get to learn about them as well. So now's the time, as Bron was saying, show up. How can I help? Visit the Zoom room here in a minute and we get to know each other a little bit better. A big shout out to Jennifer Buchholz, who's working behind the scenes. JB, do you have anything brilliant to tell us today? Tell me something brilliant. How are you today?
It's Monday, man. Let's do this. I'm ready for the party.
What was that?
I'm ready for the party.
All right, very good. Sorry, I totally surprised you there, but thank you for your hard work. We appreciate it. Oh, she's going to kill me later. Also, thank you to Bron Watson for joining us today for such great information for small business owners as we build our social media plan for 2021. Make sure to hit subscribe on the Idea Collective YouTube channel. We always appreciate that. I'm Pat Miller, the Idea Coach. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you at the after party.